So, Don, we're going to just start off by asking you, are you from Laramie originally? Where do you come
No,
from?
I'm not. I'm actually from a lot of places. My dad was in the military, so as a kid moved around quite a lot, um, and then got out of. I kind of called Arlington Heights, was a suburb of Chicago, kind of home where my family is and where I spent a large part of my high school, junior high years. Then traveled around some more, going to school here and there, Louisiana, Iowa, Minnesota, and then here. But I have lived in Laramie longer than I've lived anywhere else. So
And how
this
long
is
is that?
uh, 91, so 25 years.
What did you come to Laramie for then?
My ex-wife had a job, and so we moved here.
And I assume you found a job
I
eventually.
did. I played around a little bit. I had a temporary job at the art museum working on the Artmobile, which was really fun because it was going around the state showing art to kids, which is I love doing that. But that was only for about a year. Worked for the art department for a little while and ended up in the theater department. Is where I am now.
Okay. So when did you start working for the art department? What year was that?
Let's see. That would have been 96.
Okay.
So
So
20
it's
years.
been a while. Okay, yeah.
I've been
And,
there. I started out part-time and now I'm full-time. So
and what do you do for the theater department?
I'm the shop foreman. I am in charge of building the set.
Okay.
And I teach stagecraft, which is kind of the beginning backstage, showing them how to build and
Right.
work lights and all that kind of stuff, just the beginnings there. So pretty much I'm a carpenter.
Okay. What is your most recent production that you helped build the set for?
That would have been, my brain just went, I have brain farts a lot.
I actually know the answer to this. But
That is good because I am drawing a complete blank.
Tennessee Williams. Night of the
Oh yeah,
Iguana?
Night of the Iguana. Yes, that's it. Night of the Iguana, which was a lot of fun. I mean, that set turned out. The design work on it, it's Casey Kearns who does design and stuff, and it was a lot of fun building it because a number of different things that we had to do and all that, and I mean, making the platforming out there and slats and sounded great when people were walking across. It was a lot of fun.
So in total, how many theater sets do you think you've worked on in your time here in Laramie?
That's a good question. Let's see. There are 6 shows during the year and 3 in the summer, so that's 9 shows for 20 years.
I can't do that kind of math.
I can't do that math either.
That would make it roughly 180, I think.
Probably somewhere in there.
Okay, and so are there any particulars that stand out? Anything that you're proud of?
It's kind of hard to say. There are some really things that are really neat. We did, let's see, a 20-foot tree that was like 8 feet wide that people had to go through and kind of sit on. And that was a ballet piece that we did. And it was a lot of fun. Somebody actually did a time lapse of the building of the tree, because we built the tree up, and then we had a guy who came in. He does insulation foam for houses and stuff, where he sprays it, you know.
Oh, the
and
spray foam.
Yeah, the spray foam, and then he sprayed the whole tree to give it the shape that it needed to be. And that was time lapse, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
So that one really kind of sticks out really big in my head. This past summer, we did on the mountaintop. It's kind of like the last night of Martin Luther King. We had to basically reproduce his hotel room. But what was really neat about that one, and we had this door, that the door coming in, it had to look like a panel door, but we had to put kind of this rubber in it, so these faces kind of were coming out of the door at one point, and that was really fun, challenging, because we kept trying different things to see what would work best. We had rubber. We ended up using latex, stretched really tight.
Okay. And you just had people sticking their
Yeah,
face in the
they
latex.
put their faces and their hands in it, so it looks like, you know, and everything turned red, so it's like, you know, this the hell coming through the door, you know.
All right.
It was cool.
And so that was part of the MLK Days of Dialogue at the university, or?
No, I'm sure it was probably thought of, and you know, since everything was kind of going on, to go ahead and bring it. Officially, it wasn't. It was just, you know, something that they decided to kind of do. So officially, it wasn't. But I'm sure somebody thought about it and said, "Yeah, let's do this." Since.
All right. Well, so kind of since you're part of this theater department, obviously that's your job. But is that what keeps you in Laramie, or is there something in particular that you like about living here, having come from elsewhere?
I mean, the job does kind of keep me here right now. But when we first moved here, you know, it's a fantastic place. I mean, you got gigantic mountains over here. You got the big boulders over here. Denver's not that far away, so it's easy to go, you know, to where you need to be. It's, you know, it sits very nicely and kind of within so much in here. And great place to raise kids, you know. Raised 2 of them, and they're off out and about. So pretty much the only thing keeping me here is I really like this town. You know, it's got great music. I've gotten to know a lot of people, good friends. So it's a good place to be.
So let's delve into that a little bit more. What do you like to do in your free time?
Go to listen to music and photograph it.
Okay.
That's big. I've been a photographer. Let's see, I was given a camera as a graduation present when I was 18 years old, and played around with it a lot, took it serious at one point, and I have a minor, my master's degree, minor is in photography. So I've been kind of been doing it, and it kind of comes and goes, depending on situations, but lately it's, I like to go out to listen to music, and so it's like, you know, listen to music for a while, and it's like, started bringing my camera along, and, you know, the first attempts at it were so-so. I've definitely gotten a little bit better at it. I love photographing people, which is a little bit hard to do in Laramie. Because, you know, people don't really kind of walk the streets like in big cities.
Right.
You know, and I have spent a couple times in London for a specific reason. One time for 5 months, another for 6, and I wasn't really doing anything. I kind of followed my wife at the time, and so I wandered the streets of London photographing.
So there's plenty of subject material there in a large city.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're just photographing people, then obviously you kind of need to seek out places that are dense with people here in town. So what are some of the shows or musical events that you've had the chance to photograph that they have turned out well, or maybe even if they were learning experiences?
Actually, what turned out really well, which was a lot of fun, was there goes my brain again. The What Fest this past summer. It was the first chance I've got to go to What Fest, because it always kind of falls in during summer theater normally, so it's like I have to stay here and work, so I don't get, but this year it kind of worked out to where I can go, and it was kind of fun, because it was best of both worlds. Lots of people partying and having fun and listening to music. So I kind of got in and they gave me a little pass so I can get in without having to pay, and they said, just, make sure the photos are available to us. I said, cool.
Right.
So, that one worked really well. Uptown Breakdown up in Centennial with the people.
And you recently got some photographs at the poker run. I saw.
Did the poker run. Unfortunately, I didn't get to stay at the bonfire very long, because one of the people I was with, she was getting really cold because we did it early. You know, so I wanted to kind of get there early so I could be there and photograph. But she got really cold, and since my car was the bottom car, you know, we parked my car at the bottom, her car was up at the top. So it's like, well, I have to go because of my car. So I didn't get to spend as much time there, but I did shoot a lot at, you know, at the Bear Tree, at the Trading Post, and the Friendly. So, but that's tight situations like that. It's hard to get the crowd in because it's really dark. I get heads and all that. So the daytime stuff really works well because, you know, the people show up and the music shows up. And
So is this just something where you accumulate all of your photography, or do you print any of it? Do you put it anywhere?
I recently, I think it was right after What Fest, I decided I need to do something besides putting it on my Facebook. So I made a Facebook page it's DP Turner. So I started putting stuff there. The photographs, I do it for myself. I have made money at it, so I could call myself a professional photographer. I'm published in a couple textbooks, and the theater I photograph. We take record shots of the shows, so I get paid for doing those. But mostly I do it for me. I'm not interested in really selling it. If somebody wants to buy something, cool, but I do it because I need to do it. So I put the Facebook page up so I can start publishing, well, not publishing, getting out there so people can see.
Right.
I haven't printed too much. I mean, I used to print quite a lot, but then I didn't do anything with them.
Oh, okay.
So I have stacks of photographs somewhere in my house. You know, I was cleaning up my house, so I boxed up a lot of stuff. So somewhere out in my garage is a box of photographs, lots of photographs. And of course, I grew up before digital.
Right.
So my photograph experience is, you know, I shoot black and white, I develop myself, print it myself, and so I have all of that. I need to find them because, you know, when we talked about this, it's like, okay, where are those? They're somewhere here. I need to find them again and start kind of digging through stuff.
So do you have your own darkroom then?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I used to.
So but you still do film photography then? Okay, because
I've gone basically straight to digital.
Okay.
I started digital real early. Actually, one of my first cameras is, you know, very beginning of the digital age, and at that time I was kind of doing both, playing with the digital, and then when I went over to London for the first time, I had just this little Nikon. I didn't bring my film camera because I knew I just couldn't deal with all that film and then coming back and dealing with it. So I just took the digital camera, and then it was, okay, this medium actually is not too bad. So I've kind of switched over. I'm pure digital now.
So I did want to ask you about your photography, which is, the main question for me is, you said you like taking photos at music events or taking photos of people. Do you ever take photos of any other subject matter? Have you delved into that?
I have. I love, another thing great about this area is the mountains, like I said. So I like go hiking and snowshoeing and all that, and I shoot landscapes. Recently, I've been getting really interested in clouds. So most of my landscapes are a little bit of land here with the clouds going up.
Oh, okay.
I look at my landscapes and go, yeah, that's pretty good, but I don't see myself as a landscape photographer. I go out there and I do shoot. I mean, I bring my camera when I go hiking, and I photograph. So I don't publish them, post a lot of those because I do a little here and there. And I finally found out how to use Photoshop to make the big panoramas. Because, it's like you have a cell phone and you take the panorama, it's fine. It's like, okay, I want to do that with a good camera so I can get good pictures. And those have actually been turning out pretty well.
Okay.
But they're probably good, but for me, I'm not sure they are, so they are not a thing. So,
Where are your favorite places to hang out here in town?
well, I mean, it's some of the same stuff. I you know, I like Front Street, lovely, friendly people. You know, because it's, you know, I go to other places and people are off by themselves. And, you know, it's the wait staff who are willing to talk to you, and as soon as they talk to you, you start talking to the person next to you, and I like it. I love it when they actually play music in there. It's a great place.
There's just not a lot of room.
There's not a lot of room, right? It gets very crowded in there, but it becomes very intimate, whether it's not quite the same in other venues. I mean, I do go to the Buck Friday nights, but mainly that's because of music. It's not a place I just kind of go hang out.
Right.
So, and what's nice is I you know, a lot of people have little fire pits in their backyards, which I love.
Right.
You know, I have one at my house. I have a number of friends who do it, and we sit in backyards and just kind of hang. And
is there anything that you want to add that you'd like to personally mention about your time here in Laramie, what you think is best about this town? Maybe a bit of advice to people who don't know a lot about Laramie?
I think if you don't know much, you just kind of get out there. I mean, it is a small town. It's very easy to get to know people. I have a hard time meeting people because I am kind of an introvert. But if you get out there and start talking to people, get around, this town is very friendly. Take advantage of what's around the area. Like I said, there's a bunch of different things. It's a good small town. It's, you know, it's what's kind of neat about it is because it's a university town, you have this huge population, and the summertime is when I think it's best because most of the student people go away. The weather is phenomenal during the summer. You know, very little rain. It doesn't get hot. It's not humid, because I've lived in some extremes in the past. I mean, you can't really, you know, if you go away in the summer, then you're missing the best part of Laramie is the summer, because there's music everywhere, outdoor music everywhere. Centennial, there's a number of places in town that have it. You know, the outdoors is great. If you can put up with I mean, being a college town, a lot of people are liberal. You just it's okay. You know, like you said, you don't want to talk about politics, and you know, but the rest of the state, you know, even when you get into politics, the rest of the state, they're willing to just talk to you about everything. They don't hold anything against you. You know, if you love to hunt, which I'm not, I've never really hunted. I have a lot of people do. It's a great place. I mean, just everything is kind of right here in this town. No matter what you're looking for, it's here somewhere.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a great note to end this on. So thank you very much for taking time to come down and talk to us today,
Thank
Don.
you. This was very interesting. It was fun.
Yeah. Have you ever been interviewed on camera before? No.
No, I've never have been. So this is kind of new for me.
Does it make you feel like a celebrity?
We'll see what happens with it.
Well, like I said, we're going to splice it later with me asking you a bunch of questions that have nothing to do with your answers and raising an eyebrow. But thank you very much for coming down. And,
You're welcome, and thank you.
Thank you, as always, to the cameraman and sound tech, Nid Collins, for helping me do this thing.
This is fantastic. Yeah.
And this is Laramie.